Name, Michael Davis. Most people call me Mike. Title, Principal Architect at VPS Architecture. Where am I from? I assume that means Evansville, Indiana. And so I'd be classified as a boomerang coming around. So leaving, coming back over the years, but now call it home with my family. What does grit mean to me? Mental toughness. That's probably the easiest way to sum it up. Grit is a mentally tough person that can handle whatever's thrown at them, whatever comes their way. And also having the flexibility to adapt to new challenges as they come up without giving up, always trying to persevere no matter what the circumstances. What comes to mind when I think about grit? I think about toughness, but really what pops into my head was Rocky Balboa. And at some point, I think, everyone watches that movie and they take a little bit different, something different from it. And that's why it's a great movie and just, still around, still people watching it, quoting it. But I always think about the one quote where he says, life isn't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you get hit and keep moving forward, because that's how you win. That's how you persevere in life. And so grit isn't about, being better or more talented than the next guy. It's just about keeping going, and never giving up. And once you give up and you go to the easiest thing, then you really don't have grit anymore. You really are just giving up, and you're allowing life to dictate your success. Well, I think there's several different ways. One is it tells where we came from. VPS went through a lot of changes, 60-year-old firm, many different ownerships, name changes, went through their downtime, up times, and so there used to be a thing, everybody wanted the new, young, upstart firms, and they want the flashy new stuff. And now I think people are coming to realize that, hey, an older firm brings a lot of knowledge, brings a lot of perseverance, passion to the job. And so it's not about just the new tools and the new technology and what can we do in the new fads. It's really about an understanding of how to get the work done and how to go through all the challenging ups and downs of an architecture career in the years. Architecture is in a field where you can get beat down by it. It can be a challenge. You're fighting against a lot of different forces that are pulling against you in different ways. And so to have a longevity, to have that grit is important in our profession. I would say right now is a time of change at VPS, and I think how we're going to get it into our culture is really how it's always been a part of our culture, in that we're always trying to find that mentally tough people that are always willing to learn, to step up, to understand the problems, work with our clients, do the best they can no matter what. And at the end of the day, it's not about being perfect, but it's about getting the job done and doing a good job and doing the best job for our clients. Sometimes that means always pushing through and always working through whatever challenge the project might hold. And I think that's how we fold it into our culture, is by also looking for those people that fit our culture and want to be a part of that culture. What grit means to VPS's clients is that you're getting a partner that's going to roll up their sleeves and work with you, that's going to be there to figure out the problems. And whatever challenge may come up in your project, we're going to work through it together as part of a team. Not only with the clients, but our consultants, contractors, everybody's part of that team. We're going to be there working through it with you. And so I think a lot of times we have these one-off relationships or projects, and it's harder to get those clients to understand that grit, what it means to us, what it means for them. And so we're much better at the long-term relationships. Long-term relationships, you can see that, hey, whenever there's a problem, we're there to figure it out with you. We're there to learn lessons learned, we call them, with the client. And so then those only matter if there's a next project, if there's a long-term relationship, and that we cannot make the same mistakes over and over again. We learn from our mistakes, we learn with our clients, and we move forward. I've kind of said before, and I think it's just that we want everybody to look at it as you do whatever it takes to make the client happy. You roll up your sleeves, you go out there, you work with the contractor. That doesn't always happen. Contractors and consultants can be difficult, but we're not going to be difficult. Right? We are the ones that are going to bring everything together, and we're the ones that are going to let our true passion for what we're doing shine, and we're going to persevere. If everybody wants to be on the team with us, great. Well, come along, consultants, come along, contractor. We'll figure this out, and we'll all look good in front of the client. If we have difficult consultants, difficult contractors, great. We're still going to try to overcome that and persevere and let our clients know that we are doing our best and working our hardest for them to give them the final product that they need. And so how is it a tool? I guess that's just it. It's perseverance and making sure our staff, everyone in our office understands it's not going to be about how smooth the project goes. It's going to be how you overcome those challenges within the project so that VPS and the client and everybody's happy at the end. It's a successful project. I think it sums up who we are. I mean, if there's one core value, I think where we've come from, who we are, and who you got to be in this architectural world. You know, I think our world is changing. What our role on projects is, what our role on project teams is evolving. And I think to be mentally tough in this profession is an important feature of any business, any firm, and employees, staff in our world. And I think if we don't have that, we can easily get beat down, and you can easily become a firm that just does whatever to get the work done. And we don't want to be that. I think we all want to be someone that does the best job we can with the client's resources, with our resources, with the whole team. And that's a challenging question because sometimes projects are really simple. They don't require a lot of grit. For me personally, it's when the projects are constantly changing. Clients constantly making changes. Every week's a new design meeting, every week new changes. And if you've ever put together a set of CDs, it's already challenging enough with no changes. But when the client's constantly making changes, it's hard and it wears you down. And you just have to have the long-term goals in mind of that long-term project. And so people can get just wore out, just constantly changing the same details over and over and over again. And if you don't have that mental toughness to go, this is changing, but it's changing for the better, that at the end of the project, that when it's being built, I'm not going to be beat down by the contractor with 50,000 questions. And the client's going to walk in every time they're on site and be happy, not question what we're doing. And so I think that's where grit plays a role, is that you're getting those construction drawings done that sometimes is just get it done. You have to have a get it done mentality with all the changes and all the little tweaks and all the little notes that you're just getting. You can get wore out, and you just got to keep going, persevere, and at the end you have a good set of drawings that you can build from, and the contractors utilize those drawings to build a final project that the client loves. Our world's adapting. The architecture world is changing, adapting to change quickly. I think it used to be that you could the firm could go through a transition, a change, and they were good for 10 years, if not more. Now, if we're not changing yearly, you're in trouble. And so when we look, we want our staff to be adaptable. We want them to change. We want them to have that mental toughness that we're building in processes, not so they can just not have to think about it, but so they can think about it, so they can adapt, so they can have the mental toughness and the tools to be mentally tough, that as things are changing so rapidly, they're not just getting lost, and they're not just kind of hanging out and waiting for the next task that they understand. I have to go find the next task. If I'm bored right now, what am I doing to change that? What am I doing to build my skills? What am I doing to become more valuable? Because if I'm waiting for everyone else to do it for me, it's not going to happen. And so how do we get our team to adjust? That it's not wait for the next project, not wait for the next cast. Seek it out. Go a step further in the projects for our clients. And to build that mental toughness as part of where we've come from and where we're going, I think is vitally important, not only as a firm for VPS, but even as an industry in what we're doing as architects and interior designers, that we're being mentally tough to meet the challenges of our clients, consultants, competitors, contractors, whatever it may be, that we're stepping up. We're bringing our A game to everything we do. I think grit's innovative because the old is new again. And that we used to have grit, and then everyone said, hey, look, we have all this technology and we have all this stuff, and we're just being cool and flashy. I think of star architects. Like, look at all this cool stuff we can do with technology. But no one realized that, but the people behind the scenes figuring out the details, they're still rolling up their sleeves figuring out the details, no matter what the programs can do. They can only do so much. And so I look at it as, it used to be, grit was you wrote up, the people that rolled up their sleeves and they hand drafted till 1 a.m. because they had to get the project done. Or they're thinking through all the details of this building to give the client this great product. And deadlines may change, but they're getting the work done. And we've lost a little bit of that because the computers made it too easy for people and the technology has made it too easy for people to just not even know what they're drawing anymore. And you're having to explain and teach what they're drawing. And so bringing back grit, what used to be part of our profession, bringing that back, that we're rolling up our sleeves and we're getting the job done. We're figuring out the details and we're figuring out how to save the client money and how to give them a great project, right? And give them exactly what they want. I think it's the old is new again, and people are going to find out that, well, it really wasn't being the most talented, and it wasn't being that I could speak in these architectural terms and I can be showy and flashy, and it's really, do I know my shit? And it's finding out who knows their shit, and that's what grit's going to mean to us in 2021, is do you know your shit? Because if you don't, it's going to show. And I think technology has worn off. The shine has worn off. Technology, you can have the greatest website, you can do all these videos, and you can do all this. But at the end of the day, if you don't know what you're doing, I think we're getting to a point where it's showing. Everybody's got the technology. Everybody's got the fancy renderings. Everybody's got the VR, and they've got, AR, and they can do all this stuff, and anybody can do this, but they don't know what they're doing, right? Do you know what you're doing? And that's what's going to get back to the grit. Did you take the time? Did you put in the time? Do you have the passion? Do you have the perseverance to figure it out? Know what you're doing, know what you're talking about. And if you do, it's going to translate. And I think owners are going to see that, and clients are going to see that. Contractors are going to see that. Other consultants are going to see that. And they're going to want to roll up their sleeves, get in the dirt, get in the thick of things, and say, yeah, this guy knows what they're talking about. I trust them again, right? I trust the architect again. They're not just selling me a box of whatever and saying, we're going to do this great job, and then they give me the same old, same old. They actually know what they're talking about, and they're giving me what I want. And they're going to be the master builder again. They're going to be the trusted advisor, the trusted consultant that is giving me what I want, which is someone to tell me what I don't want, right? And so if they come to us and say, we want this, we got to be the ones that step up and say, and have the grit, right, to possibly lose a client to say, that's not what you want. I know you say that's what you want. I know you love the Porsche 911, but really what you want is the reliable car that's a nice sports car that looks nice, but is going to be able to go 100, 200,000 miles for you at a reasonable cost. Because the long-term maintenance cost of that versus this is really what you don't want. You don't want to have to go to a dealership and pay $10,000 to get it fixed when this one would cost you $500, right? And so to be able to read the client, understand and get the history from the client, and be a partner and a team player and say, we hear what you say you want. This is what you want because this is what you don't want.